record. All right, welcome everyone. I'm Diane Sears and I'm the co-founder of Go for the Greens. And we want to tell you a little bit about what Go for the Greens does. We are a nonprofit organization. We are international and we help women business owners connect with business organizations to help them grow their businesses. We also have three other pillars. One of them is about sustainability, teaching about sustainable practices. Another is about golf, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So very exciting. And then our fourth pillar and our newest pillar is about mentorship and helping young women decide what they want to do with their lives and help them make some good career choices. So we're really excited that two of our big pillars are able to come together today with golf and mentorship. And with that, I'd like to introduce my co-founder, Cindy Chase. And Cindy, would you like to say anything about Go for the Greens?
Yeah, I'll just be real quick. And obviously, when I'm looking at all the speakers, I think I'm the only one that dressed like I'm getting ready to go out on the golf course.
I have a golf shirt on too. Golf shirt.
Oh, you go, girlfriend.
Yep, suit collar and everything.
All right. So, welcome and thank you. And thank you to our speakers for helping the young leaders of tomorrow step more into their greatness. You know, one of the things about Go for the Greens is, Diane and I are trying to get the women business owners in the world to really realize the importance of networking on the golf course and the networking, which historically men have been doing this for a very long time. And it is a great tool. It's a great tool in many, many ways. And I'm not going to take away from what Ashleigh and Adora are going to speak about, but please take a listen to what they have to say because it's words of wisdom. And hope to see you at some time in person. And just thank you so much for everybody for being on the call to learn a little bit more about the wonderful world of golf. So I'm going to go out so I can do my job while this is going on. And thank you and enjoy. And thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. Next, I'd like to introduce our two co-hosts. These two young ladies have been hosting our webinars. We believe this is the ninth webinar that you all have done. So Jasmin Alanis, if you click on and say hello.
Hi.
And Jasmin, tell us where you're coming from and what school you go to.
Yeah, so I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm currently attending the University of Texas at Dallas as a global business and marketing student. I'm super excited to interview you guys today.
Oh, that's great. And Leslie, why don't you pop on and tell us about yourself, where you go to school, and what grade you're in.
Hi everyone, I'm Leslie and I'm currently a senior at Harmony Science Academy in Dallas. And like Jasmin, I'm also super excited to interview you guys today.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. And so now I'd like to introduce our two guests for today. First, I'd like to introduce Adora Wen. And Adora, if you would tell us where you are and where you go to school.
Sure. Hi, I'm Adora. I'm currently in Dublin, California. I'm going to be a rising senior next year at Dublin High.
All right, wonderful. And then Ashleigh MacLaughlin, if you would tell us about yourself and the organization you represent and where you are.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Ashleigh MacLaughlin. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the nonprofit Youth on Course, which is an organization that was founded to provide opportunities for kids to play the game of golf at an affordable rate. So where typically they may be paying $30, $40, $50 each time they go on the golf course, Youth on Course subsidizes that cost to make it possible for them to pay $5 or less each time they go onto the golf course. So they're able to play more golf, which makes them better golfers, better people, and helps them have brighter futures as well.
Oh, that's exciting. And you were with the LPGA. Tell us about that a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So I'm fairly new to Youth on Course. I spent the past 12 years with the LPGA Tour, really focused on digital marketing and brand strategy. So before I came onto Youth on Course, I served as the managing director for the LPGA Women's Network. And my focus there was helping to get more women playing the game. Before that, I worked with the LPGA USGA Girls Golf Program, where I was really helping to sort of generate more girls playing golf as well. So women, girls, young people, that's very much my sweet spot. Golf is an incredible game to play for a number of reasons. So I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you all today.
Wonderful, thank you. And with that, I want to just do one housekeeping piece. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. I am going to pop off and join the chat myself and let our two leaders of tomorrow take over the interview. So thank you everyone for being here.
Well, first we want to say thank you to both of you guys for joining us. I know we've said it about 3 times already, but we're super excited. So we are going to jump straight into the first question, which is, how are you guys introduced to golf and what's your favorite part about it?
Go ahead, Adora.
Okay. So I was introduced to golf, I think, in a very like non-stereotypical way. I think golf is this like, everyone sees golf as like, oh, okay, only like elitist families can afford it. And that's something that my family wasn't like reflective of at all. When I was introduced to golf, I just saw it on TV. I saw Pebble Beach. I was like, that looks beautiful. I want to participate in that game. But like my family wasn't able to afford a lot of what I saw on TV. But as I was introduced to golf, I was introduced to Youth on Course and programs like that. And I'm so thankful that there's programs like this, because as I grew with the game, one of my favorite parts of it is the camaraderie, the people that are in the game that I was exposed to, the friends that I made that I don't think I would have met if it wasn't for these programs that allowed me to be so involved in the game. So yeah.
Well, like Adora, golf was a part of my life because of affordability and access to it. I would not be playing the game, I can tell you, if it wasn't for that. Unlike Adora, I didn't see it on TV. I didn't even think about playing golf before I actually got started. I honestly probably started golf by accident. We had family friends whose daughters had played, and they were a part of a junior golf program. And during a family outing, they asked my sister and I if we wanted to go play golf. And quite frankly, we assumed they meant putt-putt. And when we showed up, it was real golf. But we enjoyed it. We had so much fun that first day. We were immediately hooked. We decided that that's what we wanted to keep doing. That's where we wanted, that was the program that we wanted to keep going back to. And because it was affordable, because they had programming and structure in place to help us learn the basics, because we were able to make friends there, the program that I was a part of was one targeted specifically to minorities. I also did a lot of outreach to inner city kids. It felt a lot like family. So that's what both got me interested and kept me playing. And what I love about golf is there's just so many different ways to use the games as an outlet. I love it for the social component. I love, it's become a big part of traditions that my family has. So my dad and brother and sister and I, the night before Thanksgiving, we go out and play together. There's a lot of times that I can look back to that we all spent together on the golf course, just belly laughing and having a good time, that really make me thankful that I've had it as part of my life. And of course, now I get to enjoy a career in it too, which I love as well.
Yeah, thank you for your responses.
Oh, I'm having trouble hearing you, Jasmin.
Same.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying, listening to your stories, although I've only played golf once, I'm still listening to you guys. It's something that I really want to try out. So what are some resources one can use to start learning about the game of golf?
There's a lot out there. Golf's struggle, as a marketer, I could tell you golf's struggle is knowing how to connect information with people who are not familiar with the game and need that information. And so unfortunately, you will have to dig a little bit to find it, but there's tons of resources out there. I would not suggest that anybody just go on YouTube and try to figure it out based on the millions of instructional videos that are online. The first step that I would recommend is going online and finding a certified teaching professional who can help you learn the game. And there's ways to keep that affordable for yourself too. You don't have to sign up for individual instruction at $100 an hour. You can sign up for group classes. You can sign up for organizations like if you're a young person, girls golf or the first tee. If you're an adult, there's adult female, at least there's LPGA amateurs, and there's a number of golf courses that offer group instruction. And so that is a really important part to place to start. In addition to finding other people, I think the beauty of golf is that you can meet a lot of people through this game, but don't hesitate to bring somebody with you too, to learn alongside you. So bring a friend, or seek out other friends that you can make in terms of learning. So start by searching online. You can go to lpga.com. You can go to pga.com. There's tons of programs. Get Golf Ready is a really good one. Where you can find an expert basically that'll help you navigate your way through.
I'm going to add that also for me, I found a lot of resources just by like going to my local golf course that was right like by me, because I find that like a lot of the local golf courses, they provide so many programs. It's like youth programs. I was able to have a really affordable coach, play with really amazing people. There's like PGA Junior League at my local golf course, which is really, really fun if kids want to get started and play with other people. And then there's like golf clubs for adults. So yeah, it's like once you go out there and ask some people, it's actually, there's so many programs. I just went to my like local golf course 5 minutes away and I was able to find a lot, so.
Thank you. Like Jasmine, actually, our first time was actually together when we played golf, which was our first year at the Go for the Greens conference. And I remember we were talking about it earlier. We were both very nervous. It was our first time entering, and everybody was dressed so professionally with their like golf attire and everything. And so that leads us to our next question. How does one get over the fear of jumping into a new sport? And so what are some tips and tricks that you could give us for beginners and kind of getting over the fear of the process, you know, of like I said, starting a new sport? Sorry.
I think that's a great question. And I think, you know, in a lot of my previous work with the LPGA Women's Network, that was one of the most common questions we got from women of all ages at every level in their careers. So CEOs down to somebody who's just getting started, you know, in their career. Everybody has that concern in terms of not wanting to feel uncomfortable or be embarrassed putting themselves, you know, in a new space that they're unfamiliar with. One thing that, or a couple of things that I would recommend you remind yourself about in those settings is that everybody, including Tiger Woods, started exactly where you were when you were learning to play the game. The other thing is, while there seems to be so much to learn, so there's so much terminology, there's so many nuances and different things about the game of golf, you don't have to know it all right away. You just learn a little bit as you go, and you just look towards, you know, a little bit of progression in your skill and your knowledge of the game. And then the third thing that I would say is that, you know, while people dress really nicely and look very professional on the golf course, they're really not that good. And so everybody is, you know, doing their very best, whatever the best looks like for them. And they're much more concerned about their own game than they are with the people around them. So those are some things that I would say would be helpful in terms of just the way that you have your mindset when you go into the game as a beginner.
I would also like to add that like the fear of going into a game, it's not just for beginners. Like I've been playing golf for 10 years.
Yeah.
And every time I sign up for a tournament, I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
yes.
Like it doesn't really, like, I just thought that after like a few years, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm totally comfortable now with showing off my skills. But no, it just never really subsides.
Yeah.
And that's totally normal. I would say it's so normal. And I think the way that I viewed golf is it's more a game of personal growth. I learned not to like compare myself against other people. It's like more of like, hey, I was shooting this yesterday and now I'm doing better today, even if in the whole scheme of things I'm not the best golf player, but like with me, I'm improving, I'm working on my game, and that's like a really big motivator for me to just go out onto the course and practice every day, regardless of how I do in terms of tournaments or other people. That really pushes me to really go out of my comfort zone and just improve.
I think that's I'm so glad that you said that, Adora, because that's such a great point. You know, even tour players feel nervous on the tee. That is a natural reaction. It's more than likely not going to be something that you're going to 100% get over. But one of the things, there's so many beautiful lessons that translate really nicely into your life that golf can teach you. We're learning to play and move on and press on through your nerves is definitely one of those things. And I think also the fact that there's no such thing as perfection is also the other good thing. As Adora mentioned, you're playing your game. This is not you're not competing against anybody else on the golf course. It's you against the course that day. So it's all about progress. It's all about taking away the lessons that day, that round can give you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And before I get to the questions on the chat, I wanted to ask our next question, which relates to those fears that stop someone from learning how to play golf. And it's, does it matter how old you are when learning how to play golf?
Not at all.
Nope.
You can play from 2 to 102 and even younger and older than that.
So our next question is from the chat, which is back to the topic on finding resources, and it's what is a good place to get clubs and which ones do I need to get started with?
There's a lot of clubs out there. As a beginner, I would suggest a couple things. So you'll come across a lot of beginners golf club sets on Amazon, at your local sports goods store. I'm a certified teacher, so my suggestion will always be to get a recommendation from a certified teacher. And what happens is most clubs that are made for beginners or women are created at the same length. So you might be 5'2". They're selling you the same clubs that they may sell to somebody who's 5'6" or 5'8". And so what happens if you don't have clubs that are the right height for you and weight for your body, when you swing them, you may be swinging clubs that are too light or too heavy. You may cause yourself an injury. You may create bad habits in your swing because you don't have the right golf equipment. And so my suggestion would be to always start by asking a golf professional, based on my height, based on my ability, based on my goals, what do you recommend that I use? And then they can point you in the right direction of a brand and a model and all those sorts of things. They can even customize, tailor and adjust the clubs for you to make sure that they fit your body. The other thing I'll mention is that you don't have to start out by having a completely full set of 14 clubs. You can have a 3-wood, a pitching wedge, a putter, and a 7-iron and be set. So you don't have to make a huge investment in buying a bunch of clubs right away either.
Oh yeah, I totally agree that that was perfect. If you guys were waiting for me to add something, I honestly couldn't think of anything else. So that was perfect.
Leslie, you're on.
There was another question from Diane. She says, I think some people perceive that golfers and golf courses can be snobby, but I've found that people in the sport are usually really happy to introduce newbies to golf. Have you found that to be true?
I personally have. I think, like with anything, no matter where you go, even if it's the grocery store, you're going to interact with people who are less than pleasant. But by and large, I have traveled to, almost every state in the U.S., I feel like, and some places internationally. And I have been met with really nice people at golf courses, really nice people. really interesting people. That's the thing that I love about golf, is that one day you may be playing with a veteran, one day you may be playing with a family of with young kids. There's just a lot of diversity in the game in terms of people's backgrounds and stories. But by and large, honestly, the setting is probably more intimidating than the people, because you go up to a golf course, you're in this like perfectly manicured space. The grass is all cut the same level. It's lush. It's beautiful. You have these beautiful clubhouses, and they look very expensive. And then you're also in this place that is, seemingly unfamiliar too. So there's that intimidation level there as well. But, there's certainly plenty of friendly people out there who, like you mentioned, are eager to help newbies too.
I've also found that I feel like golf is a game that's really special because I've just like started conversation with strangers out of nowhere. Like I could be putting on the practice green and somebody like, "Hey, where'd you get that putter?" It's very casual. It's very like everyone's friends, I feel like. And when I play with someone on the course, like as Ashleigh said, it can be a complete stranger, but like people of various backgrounds, but they're all so friendly. They want to talk with you. I've made so many friends that are so different from me. And we still keep in touch, and they still like hit me up like, "Hey, you want to play a golf round this weekend?" So it's so, the atmosphere is so inviting, so welcome. So don't worry about like anyone being snobby or anything like that. I personally have not met someone like that. Everyone's super welcoming.
Oh, Leslie, did you want to take the next question?
Yeah. Okay, so there's another question in the chat. Well, there's two questions actually. Diane said, Adora, what kind of clubs did you start out with, and how did you choose your clubs?
So I started golf when I was 5, so this is going to be kind of a different club situation than a lot of clubs for adults. But when I started out, I used this thing called like the US Kids golf set, where you would go into, I think, any public golf course, and they have like this measuring stick with your height, and then they would like use the height to give you like a 5 club set. So I think if you want your kids to play potentially, US Kids is a really good place to start. And then as I progressed with the game, I did get like new clubs and new sets. But again, like if you're just starting your kids off of something, I think US Kids is a really good place to start.
Okay, and there was also Cindy asked, I'm so sorry. Golf is a game of honesty and manners. Do you have any stories of bad people playing golf, and how did you handle it?
Honestly, I cannot think of, an example of someone not using good golf etiquette or even manners. I think probably, golf is definitely a game where, yes, it is about honesty. You're keeping your own score. You're responsible for counting every stroke. You're responsible for even calling penalties on yourself if you make a mistake. It's definitely a game of integrity. I think probably the biggest, I guess, foul I'm used to is golfers who play slowly. Would maybe be one bit of sort of lack of manners is sort of respecting those who are playing behind you. There will be instances sometimes when you'll go play golf and somebody feels like their level is like of that of a tour player, and they spend so much time kind of like, I gotta line up my shot, I gotta read what the green is doing, and they spend a lot of time preparing and less like hitting the ball and progressing themselves forward. And what that does is it makes the game slower and less fun for everybody who's playing behind them. So that's the first instance that can come up, that comes to my mind, because it's one of the more common, I guess, bits of lack of etiquette that you'll find on the golf course.
I also have not met a lot of people who aren't like honest per se. But as for manners, the only thing that I can potentially kind of think of is like when I'm playing a tournament with other people, and then sometimes there's like that occasional rage shot where it's out of bounds and they throw down their club, you know, it happens sometimes. But other than that, like occasional just like fit, honestly, I can't think of anything else. Yeah.
I think, that I've heard a lot, and I think it's 1000% true, that if you really want to get to know somebody, you should take them out for a round of golf, because like Adora mentioned, you can find out, who has anger problems, who's not really great from recovering from things that happen to them that are less than ideal, who's the person who thinks a little bit too highly of themselves and is acting like a tour pro, during a casual round of golf. And who's like being dishonest about their score, or that sort of a thing. There's lots of little things that you can learn about other people that you really only have an opportunity to see at really quickly on a golf course. I have a friend who went on a first date with a guy, and by hole 2 she was like, this is not going to work. So it's a good way to vet people for sure.
I honestly had no idea that there was so much more to golf. I knew that it was a sport, but it's actually, I don't know, speaking for myself, I don't know about Jasmin, but it's so interesting to hear how there's more to golf than like the actual game. There's like you said, that you get to meet people and you get to like have all these fun experiences at like tournaments and stuff like that. And so that has a little bit to do with our next question, is how can the sport be useful to our individual lives, and what benefits have they brought to you guys, or has the game brought to you guys?
I personally learned a lot from golf, especially the tournaments, because like there's this really wise saying apparently in golf where like every round kind of reflects life. You've got your ups, you've got your downs, and you just have to learn to handle all of that. I've like really taught myself to be just staying calm and cool and collected after a bad shot, because it's inevitably going to happen. And if you let your emotions take control of you, it's just going to like continue. If you shoot an out of bounds shot and you focus on that one shot and you don't move on, it's going to be out of bounds again on the next hole and the next hole. So I've really learned to just teach myself to stay calm and focus on the shot that I'm currently on. Take it one step at a time, which I think really applies to life too. You can't let one bad thing really affect you for a long time.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with all of that. I think your level of just mental fortitude, mental toughness, being able to, push yourself through different situations, to stay in the moment, to stay present. I mean, it's you and one little golf ball in a split second. Things could go really well or they could go really bad. And what are you going to do based on the outcome? I think certainly perseverance, learning how to work hard towards a goal is something that golf has taught me. It's also given me this great tool set that I can use now in my professional life too. So like Adora's mentioning, there's a lot of people that play golf that connect with different parts of the game, whether it's, commenting on your putter, or, maybe you're sitting next to somebody on a plane. You now have this one thing in common, maybe if they play golf too, and can talk about all of your shared experiences. So for me, being able to meet people, being able to connect on a deeper level with people, particularly my friends, and being able to use this tool to network and spend more time with people professionally, there's never going to be an instance or an opportunity for you to say to somebody maybe who may be able to give you a job or business in the future, hey, I'd really love to spend 4 hours just hanging out and talking to you. That's never going to happen. You're never going to have a 4-hour lunch with somebody, but you can invite them to go play golf, and you can spend time outside, getting to know somebody slowly and developing a rapport with them, and making a connection that can last for a long time.
Yeah, thank you for your responses. It's so nice to hear about the benefits that golf has brought to you. And these benefits are really unique. I feel that also the golf etiquette that we've been mentioning earlier is also very unique. Like Leslie mentioned earlier, our first experience with golf, we brought the wrong attire. And during that experience, I was absolutely mortified. I was scared to even, I was scared to go inside the golf field. I think that's what it's called. Area, golf
Of
field.
course.
Of course.
Course, yes, okay. See, there's so many words. Yeah, I was mortified to go in the golf field and see everyone with their nice attire. But for you guys and your experience playing golf, can you tell us one basic rule about the sport that you were surprised to learn after you had already been playing?
Ooh. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing. Okay, I remember this is my first tournament ever, and it was like literally, I think, days after I first started playing, and my parents just thought it was a really good idea to get me into a tournament like days after. And then I did not know that you can't practice like in the bunker. So like during the tournament, I remember I was just practicing in the bunker, just hitting my club over and over in the sand. And then my teammate was like, that's like +5 right there. And I was like, what? It was so embarrassing. But honestly, like now looking back, it was just like a fun time, you know, just learning about all these new rules. It was embarrassing at the moment, but yeah, I can see where a lot of people may struggle with the rules. But like, again, I've been playing for 10 years. That was the most embarrassing moment ever. But, you know, I persevered. I got over that moment. And it's been a really great 10 years. Like, so don't let like any of that etiquette thing or words or vocab associated with this sport affect you in any way in persevering.
Agreed. Yeah, I struggle to think of one instance. So I guess the only one I can think of is a particular golf format that's, you know, beyond kind of the standard rules of play, you know, count every stroke, you know, until you get in the hole. There's other different types of games and formats that you can use to play golf that make it more interesting and fun. And when I was younger, I was only familiar with the traditional, that's it, you know, stroke play. But there's also match play, and my parents signed me up for a match play tournament. I had no idea what I didn't understand the format. But basically the way it works is it's you against somebody else. And if they hole out and have less strokes than you on that particular hole, they get a point. And so you don't even have to bother continuing to play that hole. You just pick up your ball and you go to the next hole. I did not know that. And so I literally just continued to play, you know, all my shots into the hole, stroke play, you know, handed in my scorecard at the end of the tournament with all, you know, filled in for every hole, and it was just totally wrong. Like I had no idea. I played 18 holes or whatever the completely wrong way. So it just goes to show you're always learning. There's a lot to learn. I've been playing golf for a long time. I still don't know it all. But you know, the basics, you know, get yourself familiar with the basics and you'll be fine, and you'll just learn the rest. You'll figure it out along the way. Everybody does.
Yeah, and from your personal experience, which, if you could have top 3 rules, which would they be? Like the most important?
I think honestly, it's just, you know, just like you mentioned, you want to feel comfortable on the course. So you want to have the right clothes, you want to have the right equipment for yourself, and you want to play relatively quickly. When you're playing, you know, if you're just out playing for fun, go hit your shot, you know, go to the ball, hit the next shot. If you notice that there are people behind you, pick up and go to the next hole. You just kind of play, if you're playing recreationally, make it fun for yourself. You don't have to keep hitting the ball and stressing yourself out if it's not going well for yourself. Play your own game, play at your own pace, be mindful of the people around you, and just make sure you have the right stuff when you get there. And to me, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with those. Yeah.
Is there a rule that you guys find, I guess, the most outrageous or kind of weird?
There are a lot of rules I find outrageous and weird. If you were to see the rule book, golf's USGA, that's like the official rule book, it's the size of a Bible. It is humongous. That's why I said there's so many. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about trying to be an expert on the rules of golf. Nobody, very few people are experts on the rules of golf. There are a lot of them. learn the basics, learn about how to progress yourself from the tee box to the hole. If there's water or a bunker, what to do in those instances. And then from then on out, you're good.
I like to add, though, that there's one particular rule that's been tearing my friends apart, which is like a very recent rule that you can like putt with the flag in.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
like it's so controversial, like because it used to be that you can't, because if you putt with the flag in and if it like goes into the hole, it's a penalty. But now it's not. And like my friends are all so conflicted. They're like, yeah, you should keep it in. And the other side is like, no, I hate it, take it out. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird, but it's golf. So
golf is weird.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm not on mute, right? Okay. So one of my questions that I've been wanting to ask is, now that you guys look back at, I believe, Adora, you said you've been playing for 10 years. And Ashleigh, I'm not sure how long you've been playing, but looking back at everything, how would you say that this sport itself has changed your life? Like your perspective towards whether it be school or like your career, how has your experiences that you've created throughout this time that you've been playing, how has it changed your way of living in general?
For me, like I mentioned earlier, golf has given me a lot of, I guess, things that I can have in my sort of life toolbox that I pull and call on all the time. So those skills basically that I use in my everyday life in terms of resilience. It's an outlet now for me to de-stress, decompress. It's an outlet for me to connect with my family and create memories with them, or my friends, meet new people. It's taught me a lot. It's given me a career. It's given me an outlet to help impact the lives of other people. So I'd say those have been the biggest things for me personally.
For me, I think because a lot of my interest also has to do with like networking, going into business, I really found that a lot of the decisions made in golf really apply to business. For example, like I always refer to the shot, but like if there's like a water hazard right in front of your ball, you could either choose to go over the hazard, try to reach the green, or you could play it safe, 2 shots onto the fairway. So like, I kind of found that applying to my daily life when I make decisions, whether taking it risky and having like a better outcome per se, or just taking it safe, that applies to business, that applies to investment, something that I really want to go forward in doing in the future. And then I also found that I'm much more better at focus than before I was playing the game, because I used to play golf for like 3 hours a day, and it was a lot of repetition, it was a lot of focus. And that helped me with studying. Very surprisingly, I found I was so much more able to focus and not take social media breaks. So yeah, it's surprising how much it affects my life and even my future goals. So
Yeah, I want to go back to, Leslie, were you going to say something? Oh, okay. No, I wanted to go back to sort of that, your experiences. It's so comforting to hear that we don't have to follow all etiquette rules, because I want to go for that first experience we had with golf. I remember our mentor that was with us, she kept scolding us. She was like, get off your phone. You guys have to be quiet. And it feels like that whole time we were doing something wrong. But although we kept getting scolded at, it was still a very good memory. And for our next question, we wanted to ask, what is your favorite memory on the course and how has it impacted you?
Oh, okay. I think one of my favorite moments was pretty recently. So like a little bit of background first. I spent 6 months not playing golf because I injured my knee. So 6 months for a golfer is a lot of just not playing golf. And then I remember going right back into the game after that injury, and then I was immediately signed up for an AJGA tournament, which is like a national tournament. I was so scared because it was like 6 months of not practicing, and I was like so worried with like my result and everything. But I remember that tournament so vividly because I didn't necessarily place first in terms of like everyone else, but I shot a 78, which after 6 months of just not practicing and just going back into the course was so fulfilling for me. Even though I wasn't like top 3 or anything like that, it was just such a moment of, dang, like I can bounce back, you know, and I can come back from my injury. And I don't know, I just always remember that last hole where I shot a birdie. That was so great, like such a good moment. Yeah, it just showed me how much golf can really teach you that, like, no, like this thing is not going to stop me, you know. So yeah.
I love that. I think probably for a lot of golfers, their best memory is going to be their best rounds that they've played. And I think mine, you know, thinking about this, I think mine is too, because what was unique about this one round was that I didn't care at all what I shot. This is back when I was in college. I played golf for my school in college at FSU, and we had our team a qualifying round for an upcoming tournament, and we basically, you're kind of competing against each other to see who gets the lowest scores, and then those people go on to play in the, you know, the next week's tournament. And I think I had an exam or something going on with another organization, and I didn't really want to play that following week, and so I was just playing just to play. And I just remember being, you know, it felt casual to me. I was able to kind of get in the zone and stay focused because I wasn't putting a lot of pressure on myself to perform. And I ended up shooting the best score I've ever shot, and qualifying, although I didn't play because, again, I had a conflict. I definitely remember that round and how nice it was to just have a relaxed round of golf, but also play really well. Because of not putting that pressure on myself. And I'll say the other sort of times that I really love being on the golf course, of course, with my friends and my family, is when I have a chance actually to teach somebody new how to play. That's always a really coveted opportunity for me, because I love getting somebody, you know, who thinks they can't do something to actually accomplish that, and to feel the club purely striking the ball, because that moment when you hit a good shot, it's indescribable. It's like poetry. It's just, it feels amazing. And so being able to help coach somebody along so that they can experience that feeling as well and feel great about themselves and want to do it more and want to, you know, put in the work to continue getting better is always a lot of fun for me too.
Okay, well, hi, this is Diane, and I'm back on. I wanted to ask another question, and I wanted to ask this of Leslie and Jasmin. Why don't you tell us your favorite experiences that you had the first time you played golf? So, Leslie, why don't you go first and tell us your favorite experience on the course?
Well, I think like I said, I've only played once, and it was my first time at the conference, and it was Jasmin, Esther, and me along with Miss Blaylock, and I think we were all just really nervous in general, and it's a little embarrassing, but it definitely is my best memory. It was the first time that I had made the ball inside the hole, and I was so excited because I gave it my all, and it went in, and it turned out I was using the wrong club, and so that was definitely kind of embarrassing because Miss Blaylock was like, that wasn't the right one, like you weren't supposed to use that one, and I was like, oh well, I mean, I still made it in, but you know, so that was definitely very fun, and I think I don't think I'll ever forget that moment, just because I mean, I made it in for the first time. It was the wrong one, but I made it in. So
yeah, there's no such thing as a wrong club if you make it in the hole. Sounds like it was the right one.
No, that's the part I'm choosing to remember, but that was definitely the best experience for me.
Hey, Leslie, very quickly, one of the things that some people say in golf, it doesn't matter how it arrives as long as you get it in the hole. So, it may look really ugly and whatever, but as long as you hit it forward and it gets in the hole, thumbs up.
Yes, and that's the same with life. No matter if you get to the finish line crawling or running or
Yes.
as long as you get to the finish line.
Great analogy.
I wanted to hear Jasmine's story.
Yeah, I think for me, in the beginning, there was this part where you're supposed to practice your swings. And I remember I did not make any of them. I did not know how to do it. I kept moving my hand and I could never hit the ball with the club. That's what it is. And so during that whole time, I never hit the ball with the club. And I think it was just fun, like laughing at each other. And yeah, I would say that's like my favorite memory. And riding in the golf carts too.
Oh yes, that was so exciting. I was a little bummed because I wanted to drive, but I didn't have my driver's
Yeah.
license, so we couldn't drive. Definitely, and also I think like Jasmine was saying, we practiced our swings at the beginning, and Lisa Longball was actually the one who was teaching us how to swing properly, and like, the rules to the once you enter the course, the golf course. So that was fun.
Awesome.
Can I add something to these two girls real quick?
Yeah. Hi,
The
Barb.
first time I golfed.
Introduce yourself.
The first time I golfed. Hi, I'm Barb. Not blunt, but that's okay. That's just my nature. But I just wanted to let you two girls know the first time I golfed was at Go for the Greens a couple years ago. And my lady with me was kind of scolding me too. So it's not just women with you young ladies. I mean, it's sometimes people feel they should be correcting you, but they don't know the proper way. So I'm sure next time this year will be a lot better. Maybe you'll golf with me or Cindy. We had fun when we golfed.
Good luck with that one. Well, I just
So
want
you would ask, when do people golf? And I said, I started in my 50s and I had never golfed before. And I love it now. So start now, start young.
And that was Barb, who is in charge of our on-site mentorship program at Go for the Greens. So thank you, Barb, for popping in.
Thanks,
Very cool.
awesome statement. So I want to say something real quick because I know that Diane will shut us take us into the to the 6 o'clock hour. So I want to say thank you for all the presenters on the call. And I one of the things that I heard today that really reminded me, it reminded me of one thing that really resonates when it comes to, because we do webinars for women business owners, and we also do these webinars for the mentorship program, right? And they're all going to be on the YouTube video. So if you go for the Greens and you Google webinars, you'll see them. But the one word that sticks in my mind is resilience. And when I think about resilience, I think about whether you're a woman business owner and you make an unfortunate bad decision or what have you, how do you recover from that, right? Same thing if you're a young leader of tomorrow, whether you take a course and you didn't do well, or you thought you were going to do this and you didn't do this, it's resilience. How do you recover from that? And then from a golf perspective, I think about, for those of you that don't know, one of my favorite things about golf is, how do you handle a bad situation? And at some point today, I think, Ashleigh, you talked about, the golf Bible, right? There was a golfer, her name is Lexi Thompson. And for those of you that don't know her, I think her net worth is like $10 to $13 million. And when you look at the word resilience and how to overcome something, she was in a golf tournament, I think, 2016, 2017 or something like that. And she, unbeknownst to her, when you pick up your golf ball and you're supposed to put it back down, somebody actually emailed the LPGA during the tournament and said she actually moved the ball in a forward progression. I don't think that, a centimeter was really going to help her putt. But the bottom line is she got like a 3 or 4 stroke penalty, which threw her game totally into the wrong direction. And the next day, she's still playing, doing really well, getting birdies, getting pars, doing her thing. And then all of a sudden they come up to her and they say, so they replayed what she did and she barely moved it forward. And she was like, you got to be kidding me. But the bottom line is, she didn't, you know, going back to the golf rules, she didn't know that, you know, what she had done. A centimeter, she moved the ball forward. I really doubt that really made a difference. But the bottom line is resilience. Whether you're a woman business owner, whether you're a young leader of tomorrow, things are going to happen, and it all matters on how you handle things like that and how you move forward. And golf is a great example on how you're going to handle things and move forward. Because Lexi Thompson, after that bad episode, she picked herself up, brushed herself off, took some time off, but then she said, darn it, I'm going to do better next time. I'm going to learn the golf rules, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. Mm-hmm. So I think that's an important thing. And so thank you for letting me be a part of your experiences, Ashleigh, Adora, and listening to Leslie and Jasmin. I promise I would like to play golf with you, and we'll have a great time. So thank you, everybody, for being on the call and or the webinar, excuse me. And I'll see you soon at Go for the Greens.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Great. And in closing, I wanted to tell one more story, and this is, Cindy makes fun of me, but my first time on the course, I had taken golf lessons when I was, you know, in my 30s. So my first time on the course was at Go for the Greens, and I'm playing in my first actual, you know, tournament. And I was with a guy from Disney, Matt Thursam, and we have one of his, we have someone from Disney on the phone with us on the webinar with us today. But anyway, so Matt and I are in the cart, and I see a rake on the lawn, and I said, Matt, there is a rake on the lawn. I think somebody in maintenance must have left it there. Do you need to make a phone call? That is sloppy. I didn't know it was to rake out the sand trap. I just didn't know. And you don't know those things. Those are just, but so I learned that just keep your mouth shut. If you don't know, just go, oh, you know, and, you know, make a mental note to yourself. Ashleigh, would you recommend, you know,
I would say ask, just ask. If you have questions, if you see a rake, you don't know why it's there, it looks really weird. Hey, why is this rake here? You know, someone will explain it to you. If the same thing, anything that you encounter that looks odd or you don't understand on the golf, there's going to be a lot of them. Just ask somebody. They'll walk you through what to do, what it is, how it works, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we didn't know. I didn't know how a shotgun start worked.
Oh,
and I thought that somebody was
sounds such an aggressive word. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's always going to be someone eager to help walk you through how things work in golf. So if you're unsure, just find a buddy and ask.
Yeah. Well, you all are doing such great work there. And so thank you for being with us with Youth on Course. And we appreciate you being with us today. And we look forward to seeing you on the golf course soon.
And yeah, we will see you on the greens.
That's right.
Thanks for having us, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Bye, Adora.
Bye, Ashleigh.
Bye, Adora.